Alright, what's going on guys? My name's Aliyes, Dell, and thank you for checking out this video. In this video, I'm going to be going over about 10 or so holiday Christmas photographer gift ideas. That's the title. These are going to be my personal recommendations based off my last year's doing photography as a hobby, as well as some of the things that I actually could use or want. So if you haven't got me anything, check the description and go ahead and buy it for me. So, alright, let's start it off. One of the most important things you need as a photographer or a videographer, whatever you title yourself, is one of these. Let it focus, let it focus. Put it back on me. This is an SD card, memory card, whatever you want to call it. It is required by all cameras, at least as far as I know, all cameras to record, take photos, take memory of everything. So, one of these is super important. I personally recommend the SanDisk Extreme Pro 64 gigabyte. That one's just a solid one. It's a higher end, but only compared to like this. Like this one's probably about $6. The Extreme Pro comes in around $20, I think. If my last, as the time of making this video, those are the current prices. Generally though, with any SD card, no matter what brand or no matter what brand you go with, the higher the data rate transfer and the storage, the better, generally. Alright, up next is another essential thing for any camera, and that's going to be a battery. Now, batteries aren't super, exciting when it comes to photography, but they are necessary. So, if you don't know what else to get someone, whether it's your friend or a family member that's doing photography, a battery is a safe choice, generally. If you don't know which one to get them, just ask them what camera body they have, Google search it, and then you'll find out what battery they have. And I just recommend whatever brand they have, just stick with the branded batteries. They just generally seem to work better as far as I'm aware. Alright, next on the list is going to be some form of a tripod, and not in a traditional tripod sense, more so in like these, handheld vlogging style. I've used both of these for vlogging, for videos, for regular photos, and they work really well, especially if you need like long exposure, you need your camera to be still, or if you're trying to do any kind of like vlogging stuff. It's really helpful to have a handheld tripod as opposed to just holding the camera or putting it on like a ledge or something. This one in my left hand is the Manfrotto, I don't know the model number, but it's a Manfrotto handheld one, and it's pretty simple, pretty ergonomically comfortable, and then you touch this little red button and you can adjust the head. It's really simple, it gets the job done for most of my needs. But this one comes in handy for two reasons. One, you get a further reach, and also with the Manfrotto you can open it up and close it. That's it. With the GorillaPod you can contort it any which way you can imagine, essentially. So these things move a bunch. Some people use it to like wrap around a tree. Generally though, a lot of people I know use it like this as a handheld tripod. It gives you a little bit more reach, so you can extend your lens a little bit better, and it kind of looks cooler if you care about that. This one also has a adjustable head, and then also the base comes off for easy access. Now with the GorillaPod series, there's three versions. There's a 1K, a 3K, and a 5K. That's based on how much weight it can carry. This one is a 3K, so about middle of the road, and it doesn't work on my camera, which is a Canon 60 Mark II. If you're familiar at all with that, it's just too heavy. So they're a great investment, I think. Just be careful of which one you get depending on the weight of your photographer, friend, or family member's camera. And if you don't know, ask them for the body type, look up the weight. It's essentially a GorillaPod, but like kind of better, debatably. I think so. Next on the list is going to be a microphone, an external microphone. For the most part, if not all the parts, all modern day cameras have internal microphones, but they're not that great. The one I'm actually using right now on this camera for this video is a Rode VideoMic Pro, not the Plus, but the Pro. And I think there's at least 4 different types of Rode video mics for like cameras. Rode Video Micro, Rode Video Go, Rode Video Pro, Rode Video Pro Plus. There might be more. Those are the 4 I know about. I'm only going to recommend Rode because they're the only ones I've ever used. I know there's a bunch of other microphones out there you can go, probably cheaper, different options, it depends. But I mean, Rode's been really good for me. This one is the Rode VideoMic Go, $100, and I think this dead cat was $20 $20, give or take. The one I'm using now, the Rode VideoMic Pro, retails at $230. I get it on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, for about $150. So play around with that. Any microphone is better than the internal microphone, so even if you go as low as the $60 Rode VideoMic Micro, I think it's called, it'll significantly increase the audio quality of anyone's videos. Moving on to the next one is going to be a case. Now this particular one is just for memory cards. Like I said, as the first one, if you get someone a bunch of memory cards, that'll help them out sustainably, their journey, I guess. They would last a long time because they're pretty reliable. And then if you have a bunch of them, having a case is really helpful. That way you know how many you have, where they're at all times, and you don't get confused or disorganized. Alright, so the next one I don't actually have, but I kind of want it, so, wink wink. It's called a prism. Now, I'm sure everyone knows what a prism is. If you don't, I'll just throw it on screen somewhere here. I'm not sure yet. But essentially what it is, it's like a triangle, and it prisms colors or something. I can't describe it very well, but if you see it, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. And a lot of people like to just kind of put it up next to the camera the camera lens, and it'll make some really cool light reflection pictures, colors, videos. It's a neat little tool to get a little experimental with your work and try something new. Alright, next on the list is going to be a 5-in-1 reflector, and that's this little thing. I'm sure you've seen this before, but look how big that was. You heard that? So this is a 5-in-1 reflector. It essentially helps you manipulate light, essentially. So there's 5 different options. You have a silver tint, a gold tint for like golden hour, this one is a just blackout to completely cut out the light you're using, and then this one in here, or these two are like diffusers. So I've used these out on like location shoots, like on the beach, to emulate golden hour, just kind of get some light reflecting on it, and it bounces off of this onto your subject. Or if you're shooting in the middle of the day and it's like really, really bright, just switch this to one of the other sides, like the diffusers on the inside, kind of just hold it up and it'll block out the sun or diffuse it and make that light a little easier on your skin tones and stuff. So it's really good for like portrait work. I can't see a huge benefit to video, but I'm sure there is. I mostly do photos, but I'm trying to get into the video world, as you can tell by this video. Alright, next is going to be just any kind of photography book, magazine, online course. Again, there's always YouTube, which is free, which is where I get about 90% of my knowledge, other than actually going out and experimenting with photography. But I mean, any kind of like a magazine or a tutorial like guidebook is a good place to start, especially if it's for someone new who's never dabbled in the world of photography. Although maybe not such a big one, because that's kind of daunting. You're like, I have to read this whole book before I can take a picture. Not necessarily true, but it's a good reference point. Just 1 second. Up next on the list is not a lens, but a lens mug. Bam. Now the funny thing about this one is it looks, well, not identical, but close to this one. This is a real lens. This is just a mug, right? So it's just kind of like a cool gimmick thing. If you're ever on a shoot, you pull out your lens, you start drinking out of it, they're like, what the heck? And then you switch lenses and you actually take a picture with it. No one knows what's going on. Solid investment. I got this one for my birthday actually, and they pay really close attention to it. If you didn't know any better, it looks like a real lens. So solid. Alright, so last two on the list is going to be any kind of photography or videography, I guess specifically photography, like apparel, like a shirt, a hat, a bracelet, like coffee mugs, anything that kind of symbolizes that you are a photographer, even if you're getting started. It's just kind of cool to have. Like for example, I like Iron Man. He's my favorite Marvel character, and so I'm wearing a shirt, just something to show off. You know, shirts, jackets, hats, anything that just says like I'm a photographer, or something that has like a photographer joke is really cool. Alright, and the last thing I have for this video is actually going to be something I found on Amazon last minute right before I started recording. I just searched up photographer gift ideas, and this one came up, and I thought it was a really cool idea. So what it is a deck of cards, and each card has a topic, right? So you just draw from the deck, and it could say water, it could say stranger, family member, beauty, just like single word ideas for inspiration. So you know, if you're feeling unmotivated or you want a challenge for the day, I guess just shuffle the cards up, pick one out, and go shoot that. So that's gonna be it for this video. Everything I've talked about is gonna be linked in the description box below. and I hope it helped, and I hope you, well, I guess I hope it helped, you know. Still getting used to kind of video format. I'm usually behind the camera other than when vlogging. So any advice, feedback you can give me in the comments down below. I'd appreciate it very much. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you.